All right, so since the members are here that will be here today, we'll go ahead and officially call the meeting to order. Present are Anya, Cal, Carrie, Emily, myself, Beast, and Laurel. This is the March meeting of the Awaken the North Council, and it is officially starting at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on March the 28th, 2021.
I mean, that's just good timing.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so this will probably be a short and sweet meeting for this month. There's not a whole lot to go over. Does anyone have anything that they want to bring up?
I think this would be a good time to discuss how we want to handle our Discord channels.
Let's start with that then.
My personal feeling is reading over comments and whatnot from the last couple of days. I would be in agreement with Carrie. I think we should put it to a poll so that the members themselves can decide on if they want to continue with the gendered rooms or if they would like to change them. Because I know I don't ever step in the men's room, but I know the women's room gets a lot of use. I could see some people being upset if we just get rid of it without any notice.
I agree with that. I would be perfectly fine with doing a poll for it. The reason that I originally created the 3 separate rooms wasn't to segregate folks or make it to where you could only discuss things in certain rooms or anything like that. It was to give people safe spaces to go to be able to talk with their like kind and not have to worry about not being able to talk about what was important to them, free from the judgment of others, if that makes sense. I know women like having their own space to be able to talk about things and not have guys interjecting and putting our spin on things or whichever. And same thing with the guys. We like having a place that we can go and talk and what we thought was a safe space for us to discuss our things and not have to worry about women interjecting or being judged or things like that. So, and then the LGBT room was the same idea, to give our LGBT members a safe space to discuss LGBT issues, and also to keep the clutter from the main channels, to where if you have a woman's issue, talk about it in the woman's room. That way it's not cluttering up the main channels. Men that have men's issues that need help or support or whatever from other guys, it's easier for them to open up and talk with guys in a private setting, and not have it all just cluttering up everything else. So that was the original idea behind why I made the different rooms. If they're causing issues or if they're not wanted, then we can get rid of them. If they're wanted and the members want to keep them and use them, then that's fine too.
Can we add the other groups, the special interest rooms and the off-topic rooms, to the Get Roles room, so people can join the rooms they want to join? So if they want to be in the men's hall, they can be in the men's hall, and so forth.
Well, I think, and pardon me if I'm interjecting with the wrong thought here, but while I understand what happened with Liz has a lot of people kind of, or may have people kind of going, what the hell, and maybe we need to change things. Looking at it from the 50,000 foot level, I have to say my thought is this is all a tempest in a teapot. We can't always, as I said, be everything to everyone, nor can we constantly be changing how things are done just because one person was made uncomfortable in a particular situation. There's a certain amount of being an adult that has to go into this. And, if somebody upsets you, then it's your responsibility in my opinion, again, to say something about it. And as I said in my message, if you're not comfortable bringing it up to the person directly, then get an admin involved, get a council member involved. And, sometimes if you have an impartial third party that you can talk to about it, or that you do talk to about it, you may have a better thought that, hey, this wasn't meant to piss you off. And if the quote unquote offending party can learn something from the encounter and is sincerely apologetic, then, let it go. Just my 2 cents.
I fully agree with that 2 cents.
I honestly thought when I saw, the discussions going on after that, where it was like, seriously? That was my first thought, was, you've got to be kidding. Somebody's always going to get pissed off about something, and we got to be bigger than that.
I fully agree, but unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be how things are going at the moment.
I personally don't have issues with us having those 3 channels. I think they have value.
I do too. And I don't think we should. I don't think that we should overreact to one person getting upset. If we had a whole wave of people going, oh my God, this guy is, saying these horrible things in the XYZ room, then that's time to have a conversation with that person. Not shut the whole thing down.
My concern is that there's been several incidents, not in those rooms, but in the larger thing, with people being offended or upset at our perceived lack of sensitivity towards non-binary, trans, and everything in between people. It's not so much that I don't see the value in these rooms. I think they're inherently pushing us to make a what's the word I want to say? Make a statement about gender politics that people take their own way once they join the group, and I just don't think it's an area we really need to bother with.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Make sure we have a policy surrounding what is, a policy surrounding these situations, so that we can refer to it if we have to discipline someone. I don't like that word, but
the other problem is too, it's impossible for every council member to be unbiased in any situation, given that we all might know the person on either side. So then we're making a decision based on our biased opinion on the people involved. Maybe to some, this person was oversensitive and went high and right in their response, while to others, they are justified in their response. And that's the issue, is that we can't ensure even treatment of all our members. And that's where my concern is that if we add more rooms, we're implying something in a political sense that it's not our business to do. And if we remove the rooms, we're just making the same implication. The reason I suggested the removal of the rooms is because while they are valid and they do serve a function, they present us as defining something. And while I understand that men, women, and otherwise aren't always the most open to understanding things, I feel that the concept of gender division is a very, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say archaic, but we're just setting ourselves up for more issues in the future. I understand that we're here to make everybody feel welcome, but at a certain level, we can't provide individual safe spaces for people down to the level. Or if we want to maintain the gendered rooms, we need to specify that they are not for politically incorrect humor. I know that sounds stupid, and I genuinely dislike PC culture as a whole. But in this case, those rooms need to be for talking about issues and troubles and things like that nature, not a place to post jokes. If that's how we end up deciding this, we need to specify that. We have a
Well,
place for
that's-
memes and jokes, and if your joke isn't appropriate for everybody, even if it's an adult joke, we have an adult meme channel thanks to my inability not to say profanity. That's okay, but it has to be across the board. One of the things the person spoke about was the behind closed doors. And I think it's important we don't have that. If the channel isn't appropriate for anyone to go in, if they feel they identify with that, then it's not serving its function. It's become a place for people to make it's become either a boys club or a girls club or a XYZ club. It doesn't matter at that point because they're not serving their function anymore. They're not a safe place to talk about issues that you feel that other people might not understand. They're now just a place to talk about other people who aren't this. And I think that's what the issue really was with this person, is that, yes, it's the men's channel, but at the same time, it was more humorous than a real discussion about an issue. Which, to be fair, at the time, that was never defined as the rule, so no one is at fault. And it was kind of presented as this is a place where you can share kind of crude memes and stuff like that, which is, I just want to clarify, I have no problem with. But in a larger sense, we're just setting ourselves up for more of these issues.
I think that would actually be a good way to solve this, is just to clarify, hey, going forward, if you've got a joke or a meme that you want to post it in, the appropriate meme channel. And like Cal said, if you realize that that meme isn't appropriate for a general audience, then don't post it.
And I think that goes not just for the Discord channels, but for the greater group in general.
I completely agree. And that's
We
why I
maybe
also
need to have a policy on, inappropriate jokes, language, and behavior.
that was another reason I suggested us using a bot to handle some of this too, is because it removes any sort of bias with certain things like language and just post in inappropriate places. There's no bias. The bot has a set of rules, and it enforces the rules equally for every member, including council members, male, female, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. Robots don't care. So unless we teach the bot to be a jackass, he will be the best behaved admin we have. And I include myself in he's going to be better behaved than me.
That sounds perfect. I mean, to me, that sounds like a great idea, especially if we're able to make it clear to the members that that's what it is.
I agree with that. And I believe Chris was looking into something along those lines. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here today because he's working. But I know that's something that he and I have discussed in the past. Kel, I think you were part of that conversation too, weren't you?
Yes, I suggested, I think it's called Nightbot or something like that. It's a pretty fucking, apologize for that language, but it's a pretty robust bot as far as its ability to do pretty much whatever we want. And as we expand and say we start doing more stream-based stuff or whatever, and we've got live chats, it can also help cover those, which could potentially be an admin nightmare given that they're a live feed type of deal.
Right. Is that a free feature or is that a paid feature?
As far as I've been able to tell, there is no paid features of Nightbot. Everything is free.
Okay. Would you get with Chris when he's not working and see about getting that set up and what the process of that would be?
Sure. It looks like what it cares about most is that we have some sort of either Twitch or YouTube channel, which we do, because that's where its primary interface will be, is controlling stream chats. But then through that, they have a link for the Discord bot that we would just install.
Okay, awesome. We've got the YouTube. In fact, I just posted another video from Kurt for the Patreon supporters. I know I want to do more YouTube here soon. I've got a list of things that I just need to sit down and get going. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think that would really solve the issue that we encountered. And, you know, thus far, that's been the only person that's really brought that to our attention. Not saying that there weren't issues in the past. They might have happened and just weren't brought up. But going forward, I think having that policy in place about, you know, about humor and memes and post those in the appropriate places would solve the issue, and we can just keep the channels existing the way that they are, because, you know, there are issues that we encounter separately as, you know, male identifying or female identifying people, and I like the idea of having a safe space to go about that.
And I just want to clarify, any recommendation that I make, it's always approached from the most satisfactory answer for the most people that provides the most even response. That doesn't mean it's the best or the correct one. I just try to look at the things and see how we can ensure that everybody's treated equally. So this works, it's fine, and I'm 100% for it because I do think there is value in these rooms. But as far as my suggestion to remove them, it was more of, unless we clarify what is allowed in those rooms, we can't enforce rules that people don't know about, and that's my big thing.
Bingo.
And I fully agree with it. And that's something that we need to work on, is going through and setting defined roles, I guess, for those rooms and posting them and pinning them so people see them when they come in.
Yeah, that's why I also thought just like adding a little thing to the end of the channels, even if the channel, we add it to the end of the channel's title, just a simple ESRB style rating, because I think that's easier to understand than the movie style rating, where it's E for everyone, M for mature, so you got to be above 18, and then we don't really have any T room, so it's either an E or an M room, and that's my looking at it.
I like it.
That's a good thing. I know to be a member of Awaken North, you have to be 18. Mm-hmm. So that part, we shouldn't have any minors in here, period.
Yes.
But having the channels marked as to their ERSB ratings is a great idea. That way folks can know what to expect in that channel, because just because you're over 18 doesn't mean you want to see rated R stuff. I know there's some folks who don't like that. So that's actually, I like that idea a lot.
And yeah, and like I was just thinking mostly because the military channel, because so I work for a test and evaluation squadron, and it's been 10 years since I worked with the military, and it's just as crass and crude, but that's kind of the culture that you instill, and it's, in a weird way, it's a it's a messed up version of equality, because dirty jokes and politically incorrect humor is still rampantly common. But for the most part, people have evolved now to, if they say something offensive and then they find out that has offended somebody, even without being told. I was actually really proud of a moment that happened in the squadron with one of my aviation ordnanceman brethren, where he made a somewhat homophobic joking remark to another colleague in the presence of a gay individual. And of his own accord, once he realized the error he had made, then the person who the gay person I was with, they didn't say anything. They weren't even upset or offended, because it's just part of the culture. You just you just take it on the chin and just keep moving on. It's just a joke, and people understand that to a certain degree in the military, just because that's the environment. But once he realized he made an error, he was very apologetic, very genuine, and I think that's the important thing to distill is everybody's going to screw up. Everybody's going to make mistakes. We're not here to crucify you for making a mistake. And in fact, most people, I genuinely believe in our group, or in Awaken the North, they're not trying to upset people. They're not trying to offend people. They say things and do things because people are fallible and we make mistakes. And it's, you can ask Anja, or maybe not ask Anja, but her husband and I have a very special relationship with sharing potentially crude humor, but we keep it between ourselves. And it's just part of the funniness. We don't mean anything by it, but that's generally how most people are. They don't mean to hurt anybody. And we have to be understanding for both sides. We can't crucify a person just because they accidentally upset somebody.
Bingo.
That's what I'm experiencing right now, is the crucifixion part, because unfortunately that meme that I posted was meant to be funny. It wasn't meant to upset. It wasn't meant to offend anybody. It was what I thought was just a joke. But apparently it has upset quite a few of our LGBT community, and a lot of them are up in arms angry at me. And I've taken it down. I've posted the apology. I've posted a couple different public apologies for it, because I honestly did not mean to upset anyone or offend anyone. I just thought it was a joke. And after it was explained to me why that would be offensive and such, then I took it down and acknowledged I did wrong. But still, there's quite a few of the LGBT community who are apparently out for my blood from what I'm being told from others, that it just completely pissed them off. And a big chunk is seriously considering leaving Awaken the North because I posted the meme.
Okay.
So
I'm going to interject right here, because you're listening to comments made from people who supposedly heard them from others. You're not getting this feedback directly from those supposedly offended people. So hearsay does not.
No, actually, it's I'm getting it from everybody, whether it's those who are directly offended or those who are offended for others.
Well, I misheard you, because what I thought you said was that supposedly a lot of people are looking at, from what you've heard, a lot of people are considering leaving. Here's the thing, Beast. If you have apologized, as Cal said earlier, everyone is fallible. We all make mistakes. And if you do something wrong and you apologize and you are heartfelt in your apology and you commit to doing better, anyone that continues to have their tail feathers in a fluffle, I'm sorry, they need to back off a little bit, because what more can be expected from any of us? You weren't trying to be an asshole, and you've apologized, so now everybody needs to move on. And maybe, having been, Cal mentioned, in the military, things are a bit crude. I'm a former military wife and wife to a former cop. I get a lot of offensive stuff in my house, and you deal with it and you move on. I'm sorry, but to continue to beat yourself up because some people won't accept your apology, that's just not right.
So that said, I think I might have thought of a solution of sorts. and I don't know if this is something that Anjo wants to take on as the military affair, or not member affairs, not military affairs. But we could. I just don't know if this would be right. But we could add another chair or council member whose specific role is to deal with I don't want to say minority groups because that sounds like, I mean, you know.
We have a position that had at one point been filled for Chancellor of Regnabuya, the one who was supposed to be over all of the folks who are not binary. Is that the right term? Folks who are part of the LGBT community, folks who are part of the underrepresented, but unfortunately that person flaked out and literally just disappeared, ghosted everybody, and we haven't had a replacement for them yet. I know one thing, and the reason why I just called Sarah in here, and Sarah, thank you for coming in.
Sorry, it took a minute.
No, it's fine. The reason I called you in here is dealing with this particular situation and the view of the members about the council. The council specifically, I've heard from a couple different now that, well, what else is going to be expected from a council that is mostly old white cis hetero men? People don't know that Chris and I are the only old white cis hetero men that are on the council of 7. We've got 7 people here, and the old white cis hetero men are the minority on the council. But people apparently don't know that. So we need to work strongly on getting you guys as council members public out there so that people know that the Council of Awakened North is not like the council of the other heathen groups out there. That's not just old white cis straight hetero men. And Sarah, the reason I called you in is that kind of falls into your wheelhouse with your postings and stuff. If we could do a once a week or something highlight on a council member, pick a different council member each week and do a council spotlight kind of thing. So that the word is out there that you ladies are the ones that are running this, not us old white straight men.
That's totally doable. That would be actually really easy. I can get on that. Like, probably maybe Wednesdays would be a good day to like just handle that.
Okay. And all of you will have to forgive me. I know I'm old white straight male. Laurel is middle-aged. She's going to hurt me for that. White and bi.
You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yeah. Cal, you are trans lady.
Yep.
Anya, you are bi or straight?
Oh, I'm very bi.
Okay, Anya's bi. Carrie?
Straight.
Emily, I believe you are non-binary. Is that correct?
Kind of. So demi, it falls into the realm of demi. Still associating with my femininity, but acknowledging that I have kind of days of more masculinity, and also bisexual.
See, so yeah, I'm not sure how much more diverse our council can get. If we can find a gay, trans, black woman or man, then that would be just the completion, wouldn't it?
We don't have any robots on the council.
True.
Yeah, where's the AI representation?
I think I have him. Given my,
Androids unite, yo.
I could belong to that group.
But yeah, that was one of the big complaints that I've gotten the last couple days, is that the perception of the council is that we're all old straight white guys like me, when as far as I know, Chris and I are the only two old straight white guys on the council. But apparently no one in Awake in the North knows that. So we need to get that out there more. And it's don't that's not the reason why I've gotten you folks on the council, is not to, because you're not other, I know that's offensive, but because you're LGBT or because you're not old white straight guys, that's not why I specifically chose you. I chose each of you because of the strengths that you have, regardless of what your personal sexual preferences are or self-identities or the terms for it there. It just, like I said in the text chat earlier, I just realized this morning that of the council, 7 members of the sitting council, there's only 2 of us are guys. It didn't used to be that way, but as things have changed over the last year, it's turned out that I'm the minority now. So, yeah.
It's okay, Beast. You can admit some of us were diversity hires.
No, honestly, most of you were hires because you were there at the time and willing. You had,
You're a warm body to fill the chair.
yeah, you're a warm body that had the abilities in each of your roles to do what you wanted to do. Emily came on because they were highly recommended by a person I trust over at the Trough to take over as our comms once Anthony pieced out. I honestly didn't even know what Emily's self-identification or preferences or which not were when I brought her on. It wasn't something that I was taking in consideration. It sounds not cliche, but it sounds trite. I don't mean it that way, but kind of like the thing now where people are saying, I don't see color, which is a total cop out. But with y'all, it's not, I didn't look at your identification or sexual preferences and such, because that wasn't what was my main goal. My main goal was getting someone who would do the damn job.
I'm just joking with you, boss. I know, because I was literally, I was voted here.
Carrie, I believe you were voted in too, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, it wasn't my choice anyhow.
I'm only here because I sleep with the boss.
And also,
I was available.
I am old though.
So yeah.
I think I just volunteered and ended up here.
Yeah, pretty much. But speaking of people doing their damn jobs and being willing and stuff, I do want to take a minute and acknowledge and give my deep, heartfelt appreciation for the amazing job that Sarah has been doing recently.
Yay, Sarah.
Thank you.
If I had a horn, I would blow it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I think the big takeaway from all this is that we are most certainly a group trying to be better and trying to hold ourselves to the highest standards. But a lot of those standards, we don't really know where to set them until we've run into an issue. And I think partly it's important we convey that to our members, that they are the ones that are really setting the policies. Yes, we create them and we figure out how to make them work, but they're the ones telling us what they want us to become as we grow into the future. And I think it's important we reinforce that to them.
I agree with that. And I do like the idea of having the poll for what the members want for the rooms. I have a feeling that the rooms are going to stay as they are. The rooms that are there will stay there. But it will reaffirm for us that it's what the members want. And it will show the members that we are actually listening and caring what they have to say about things as well.
I agree.
I do think that because of our member base and those who interact and those who don't interact, I would say let's put together a poll and put it in Discord. I don't think a Discord-based question needs to be posted out to the Facebook groups, because there's a ton of folks on Facebook who aren't in Discord. There's a ton of folks in Discord who don't participate in Discord. But it's like someone else I was talking to earlier. We were kind of kvetching privately. It's amazing that we have all of these thousands of members for 8 to participate on a daily basis. But I think if we put it out to everyone on Facebook, then we're going to get a ton of answers from folks who aren't even in Discord or care about Discord, but just want to be able to bitch about something. So I think that the poll needs to go out to our Discord members for them to vote on what they want in their Discord, if that makes sense.
I agree. Because it really is, the Facebook group, it's kind of like they're their own entities. It's how people interact with different things. So they're all collectively one and the same, but at the same time, Facebook issues should be brought primarily to the Facebook group. And then everyone has access to those groups. It's not like we're hiding anything. We're just trying to make sure it's concise and focused on the people primarily using platform A or platform B or whatever.
Right. Okay, so I think that settles that for right now. I think we've got good plans on what to do for the future. Couple other things that we need to discuss here, and we're getting close to our time, so that's why I want to move this along a little bit more. I know that discussion was a very important discussion to have, so that's why we talked so much about it there. We drastically need to have a treasurer. Treasurer cannot be, hey, my friend Joe, who is good at maths. It needs to be someone who knows what they're doing as a treasurer. That is one of the legal requirements that we have as a 501c3, is that we have a treasurer. Now, we don't technically have the 501c3 yet. It's still in process with the government. From what I'm hearing from folks, it could take up to a year for them to process the application right now because of the short staffing because of COVID nonsense. But we need to have a treasurer in place who can deal with all that, especially once we hit that 501c3 federal status. So if you know anyone, or if you're good at making posts and saying, hey, we need a treasurer, definitely let's try to get a treasurer on board here so that we can have someone that's in charge of the financial stuff. Our Patreon is, last I checked it, we're currently receiving, I think it was $163 a month in pledges from the Patreons. Now that we have money coming in, we need someone to be able to manage that.
What
I
qualities
agree.
are you looking for in a treasurer? Anything specific?
Well, one thing that is imperative is that they're not dyslexic. I was going to have Jason, my assistant, go through and update our finances on the website, going through a report that I printed out for him from the PayPal thing. And he very politely apologized and said he can't do that because he's dyslexic and turns his numbers around. So that won't work. But basically someone who is good with numbers, good with math, knows what they're doing with whatever financial. I'm not a treasurer. I don't deal with stuff, so I don't really know exactly what they would need to have. I know I'd written up a thing about it last time I posted with qualifications that were needed. Let me see if I was smart enough to save that, because I save everything usually. Oh, stop. That's not what I want.
Anja, you're good at maths.
You can shut your face. Just because I work in the finance industry doesn't mean I'm good at math.
I mean, you're better at me at maths. So that's not a high bar, I guess.
Okay, the one that I had written up before said, "Good evening, folks. We're currently accepting applications for a new treasurer. This is a council position, and due to the legalities of a nonprofit organization, it does require a trained professional. This is a volunteer position, as all council members are. If you feel you're qualified, please send a resume to chorus@awakennorth.org. Must be or willing to become an active member of Awaken North. Must have an actual computer, not just a cell or tablet. Must have reliable internet connection. Must be able and willing to pass a background check. Duties and responsibilities of the treasurer: financial management and oversight. The treasurer will manage and oversee the management of the financial affairs of Awaken North, including such basic tasks as reconciling bank statements and managing cash flow. Treasurer should be knowledgeable about who has access to Awaken North funds and any outstanding bills or debts owed. Treasurer will create and maintain systems for ensuring Awaken the North's ongoing solvency and oversee the development of Awaken the North's financial policies. Helpful policies to consider, including check signing authority, expense reimbursement, credit card usage, and petty cash policies. Budgets. The treasurer will be responsible for preparing or facilitating the preparation of an annual budget, as well as regularly monitoring and comparing the actual revenues and expenses incurred against such budget. The development of a budget that supports Awaken North's goals and drives decision-making is an important part of the organization's success in affecting its mission. The budget will be reviewed and approved by the council. However, the treasurer should be prepared to explain and justify the documents. Reports. The treasurer, there's still more. The treasurer will have thorough knowledge and understanding of Awaken North's financial reports and important financial ratios. Treasurer should keep the council appraised of key financial events, trends, and concerns, and their assessments of Awaken North's fiscal health. The treasurer is also generally responsible for completing or ensuring the completion of required financial reporting forms, including the IRS Form 990, in a timely manner, and making these forms available for the council and general public's review. The financial liaison, a skilled treasurer, will be able to translate financial concepts and information for council members who do not have financial backgrounds or substantial financial experience, i.e. me. The treasurer can be effective to the council and Awaken North as a whole when they are facilitating and encouraging the council's strategic thinking about the short and long-term financial virility of Awaken the North in relation to its advancement of Awaken the North's missions. If you feel you're able and willing to volunteer your services in this role, please send me an application.
You may want to remove the part about having to be a professional. Like, I understand that they have to behave in a professional manner, but we don't necessarily need somebody with professional who has worked as a professional in the field of being a treasurer. We're more looking for somebody who could do that function, right?
I mean, I've never worked professionally in the field, but I've done a lot of that stuff for my brother and my stepdad. So, like, I kind of agree. We don't really need to have, like, professional in the field part put in.
I agree.
Because, I mean, we're all trying to be professional in our duties here, but at the same time, it's kind of like on a job where it says you have to have X amount of years of professional experience in this area, when in reality, that's not a requirement. It'd be nice, but we need a person who feels comfortable being a treasurer more than them being previously a professional treasurer, right? Am I understanding that?
I'm down with that.
Because I thought that might have been what scared some people away. They're like, oh, well, I did this in the past for maybe Boy Scouts or XYZ or whatever organization, but that was as a volunteer thing because there's a lot of volunteer treasury positions.
Right. I've gone ahead and removed that part and uploaded the entire thing into the council discussion chat room. So it's right there for you guys to look at, copy, paste, do whatever.
Julio.
Okay. So, Anya. Okay. So, for clarification, Anya or Anja?
Anya.
That's how I've always said it because the J is a Y in the most languages that I know of, but Cal is saying it Anja, so I just wanted to clarify. All right, Anya, as the Chancellor of Member Affairs and the head of our Merchants Guild, do you have anything?
Well, a while back I did post a graphic that I'd made to post on Facebook on a relatively regular basis, just advertising the Merchants Guild. I didn't get any feedback on it at the time, so I haven't been using it. But that's something that I can start doing if you guys are cool with it.
I'm cool with that. That was actually one of the things that I wanted to discuss about the merchants. I think we need to change up the logo every now and again because it's becoming ignored. It's the same logo. They've seen it. They know what it is. They scroll right past. If we could put a different logo or different picture or something, just change that, make it something different each time, then I think that would get maybe a little bit more attention, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm perfectly fine with whatever you decide to put up for pictures for it, as long as the main information is there. And see what goes with that. See if maybe that will grab some more attention and traction with it. We also need to advertise more for folks to join the program because we don't have a lot of merchants on there right now. As it sits right now, I need to go in and revamp the application site for it because we're not charging for the merchants right now. I need to take the tiers off so that they all know that they get the same thing no matter what without being charged. But we need to start pushing that more for folks to list their businesses, list their jobs. I also want to do I don't know, maybe once a month post or something of not necessarily I'm the owner of this business, we make heathen stuff, but post businesses that are heathen friendly, ones who might not necessarily be part of the guild, but hey, I work for John's Pit Barbecue and the owner's a heathen, so come down and get some barbecue and support your local heathen business, kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that idea. Also, the graphic I was talking about that I made was for for advertising the Merchants Guild as far as getting more people to join as merchants.
Awesome. Okay, can you post that in our council chat
Yes.
when you have a chance? Anything else that you need to discuss?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alphabetically next is Cal as Hydriton, but no one cares what you say. So, Carrie, do you have anything to add?
I think I've spoken enough today.
Really, Cal? There's no outbursts about that?
I mean, I've talked a lot today, so I've stopped caring what I've said. So, I mean, at this point, I'm on the same page. My only thing I was going to add is that it's never a good idea to base how to say something off the way I do, because Anja can tell you I can't have words well or good at all. English is my second language. I don't actually have a first one, so I'm just bad at English.
I think we all are at times. So that's why I have Bragi as my patron, because hopefully he helps a little bit. Imagine how lame I'd be without him. Emily,
Oh boy.
our mistress of the military. Anything fun and exciting in your realm?
Not so much here. I get yelled at the most often in my office at work for having the worst profane mouth. So, yeah.
I know I put you in touch with the one guy who is, I'm probably going to get this backwards because I keep getting it backwards. He's in Jordan going to somewhere else, or he's somewhere else going to Jordan in the next couple weeks.
Yes, and I have kind of a draft letter that's been approved by, I think it was the Navy previously, that I was going to pass to him to be like, hey, use obviously because I believe he's Army, his rag in substitute of the naval dress and appearance regs, but a lot of it explains the reasoning.
Okay, cool. I know he was talking about, he wasn't quite sure when they were deploying out, and I had suggested that he wait until he got to the new base because it was like a week or two till he left. And I'd suggest he wait until he got to the new base. That way he could start the process and continue it through with the same chaplain and such, instead of starting it where he's at and then possibly having to start over again in a couple of weeks when he lands where he's going. So if you could stay on top of that, that would be awesome. Anything else from your realm that we discuss?
Absolutely. I was thinking of trying to pull a list together of any of our guys downrange and actually doing care packages. Since I'm overseas, I have an APO, and APO to APO is free. So it's real easy to get care packages down there, especially from Ramstein. It's the main postal hub. So.
Okay, awesome. Yep, he's getting one of our pocket altars and Havamals. He's going to fill out that once he gets to where he's going. That way it's shipped directly to him there. That way you're not worried about forwarding and things like that. So
easy.
Awesome. Laurel.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to discuss?
I don't think so.
Okay. Sarah, as a chair, of course, you don't have voting rights, but you're more than welcome to discuss anything that you have that you'd like to discuss if you'd like.
Nothing really to discuss other than kind of what I'm calling myself out. What I said earlier, is this the urge to just let people it's great to talk to the same freaking 8 people every day. Thanks, guys. That's just getting a little irritating, and it's kind of trying to not outburst on them if anybody has any pointers on that.
Post meaningless, frivolous, mindless crap. That seems to get the most interaction.
I've been doing my best, but I'm not good at being dumb.
That's something I've noticed across all of my heathen groups, is if you post something of substance, something that actually makes people think, then you'll get crickets. If you post hey, show me your dog wearing a hammer, then everybody comes out of the woodwork and everyone wants to comment and show posts of their dog wearing a hammer.
If somebody like wants to send me some alcohol or something, then I'll be better at that.
Yeah. I know with my in the members group, I'm posting the Egel Saga chapter by chapter, and it's getting a handful of thumbs up, and once in a while it'll get a comment on it. I know in the Discord, in the Rune of the Day, I'm really happy to see that people are interacting more with his posts. So that's gaining a little bit more attention. I know I haven't done the trivia for a while because I suck. I really need to get back to doing the trivia nights and posting those up because those seem to get some good interaction. As long as Anya and Chris didn't steal the show and answer all the questions in like 0.3 seconds. But any other ideas that people have for getting people to actually interact and participate would be amazing. All right, well, it is 1:08 now, Central Standard Time. We've been going at this now for an hour, which is our limit for the meetings. So at this point, if there's no objections, I think we're going to go ahead and call it.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in there.
Last chance for anyone to say what they need to get off their chests. All right. So as of 1:08 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am calling this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for joining us.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Adios.